Hey, what's happening there? Flawless. You weren't even ready for it. You was expecting this to mug up at the beginning, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So, how's everybody doing today?
Yeah, all good.
Fine.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Great.
Ready for action.
Yeah, it's that time again for that comic book review show. I'm joined by my lovely panel as always. We've got the Dark Lord of the Sith himself there, Luke from Hydra Collectibles.
Is that
Say
who
hi,
I am? Hi, Luke.
Oh, I thought you didn't mind that one.
No, I don't
Then we've
mind
got,
that one at all. That's quite a good
I mean,
one.
his name is Luke. Why? I mean, just go to the obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Then we've got a Triple G PO. How's it going, mate?
Very good, mate. Very good.
PO.
Yeah. So, I've got it now. I wasn't with you there, but I've got it now. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah. It's good. Very good.
See, I thought James was gonna turn up late, and I was gonna have him as Obi-Wan's Force Ghost, but he's here anyway. How are you doing, James?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I'm glad I am on time. So I have to rethink your puns.
Definitely. He's not small and green, but he's like Yoda anyway. It's Efren from Past Point. How are you doing, Efren?
Harsh.
But you are the wisest of us all. That's what I'm saying, Efren.
Yeah, I was telling GP behind the scenes, I've been enjoying reading these books, the ones we've been doing, because I usually don't read books again. I'm done, one and done. So I've been really enjoying this series. Reading books every 2 weeks. So it's been entertaining. So good times.
And when James turns up at James T D2, that's what I was going to go with.
God almighty.
Yeah, it checks out.
I know.
It works.
Just check out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, comic lad Simon couldn't be with us tonight. He's off doing a battle reenactment at Centre Parks, but he did send a photo.
He's looking better than usual, to be fair. Yeah.
Looks half asleep, mine. But it is that comic book review show, and we're here to talk about Star Wars Vader Down. Before we get into the book, just jump into the comments here. Sif Lawley, always nice to see you, mate. Thanks for stopping by. And we're joined by Sean Hogan. How are you doing, Sean? Glad you could make it, mate. This was James T's pick, and he's not here. So he's left us holding the ball. Anybody want to volunteer for the synopsis of Vader Down?
I think you put a synopsis on the YouTube thing, so I can read it from there if you want.
Oh, yeah, you can go ahead and read it, man.
Oh, no, wait, you haven't? What? Okay.
I
swear I was there a second ago. I don't know. My computer's going weird. Okay, ignore me.
This takes part just after A New Hope.
Oh, James is here. James is here. He saved you,
Oh,
JP. He saved you.
He's saved.
He's gone. James is gone.
I found it. I found the blurb literally on your stream. So when Darth Vader accidentally finds himself facing off against the Rebel fleet on his own, he is sent crashing onto a nearby planet. Will the Rebels seize this opportunity to put an end to one of their greatest enemies, or will they be made to feel the full power of the dark side?
I love that. Do us a favor, James. Say, do a He-Man. Do I have the power? Because I love that.
I have the power.
Power. I love it.
Yeah, power. Yeah. No, you're getting me on the wrong word. Power. The power shower. It's an R for the power shower.
The power shower.
So Vader Down was released in 2016, written by Kieran Gillen and Jason Aaron, art by Salvador Larrea and Mike Dioda. I think I pronounced them right. I'll just give you my quick overview. I'm not the greatest fan of mixed collaborators on comic books. So when you get two different writers, two different artists, it kind of throws me off. Oh, with it, we're joined by James himself there.
Hello.
It's all right. Other James has done your job for you.
What job?
James has done your synopsis for you.
I hope it was a good one, James.
It was top quality, mate. It was top notch.
That's what I expect.
Yeah. So I was just going to go over my overview. So yeah, not a big fan of mixed collaborators. I do have a couple of issues with the book itself. I remember picking this up back in 2016 when it first came out and read the first two issues. I enjoyed it then. I didn't read the rest, unfortunately, but I have now. We'll go James, take some things off pick. You want to give your overview, mate?
I love this one. I've always loved it. I'm not, obviously a big Star Wars fan. I feel like no matter what your opinions of Disney's kind of use of the Star Wars license, their portrayal of Vader has always been impeccable, and I think this comic really emphasizes that. I love seeing them just go ham on people and spouting badass lines. I think it's really exciting if you were at the time reading the Darth Vader comic and the Star Wars comic simultaneously to see characters from each of them meeting. So like there's various evil versions of characters, like the protocol droid, kind of the evil C-3PO.
Yeah.
And R2, seeing them meeting the regular ones, seeing Black Stanton fighting Chewie, it was just like I remember absolutely adoring this book at the time, and giving it a reread, I think it's still fantastic.
Brilliant. We are joined by the Fuzzy Dunlop himself. He was apparently on the wrong freaking channel. Cheers, Fuzzy. We'll go. Pete, what was your overview?
You're muted.
I knew that. I was
Professionalism on this stream.
Just testing you. I was just going to say, James, I'm getting lots of fuzzy bounce back. I don't know if it's your phone or not. That's why I muted myself.
Okay.
So what did I think of this? I've been told repeatedly. Yeah, that's better, James. I've been told repeatedly that this is kind of like the iconic Star Wars comic. If you're into Star Wars, this is the one to read. It's superb, blah, blah, blah. So I went in with really high expectations. And I thought it was pure mince. It didn't out for us, I have to be honest. I might be alone. Yeah, look at James's little face, bless him. I might be alone on this. It just didn't. I went in expecting like a gritty. The way it's been explained to us was Vader shot down. I expected him damaged and hurt and kind of limping through to, through swamps or whatever. He was actually in the book very little. I thought it was predominantly a Luke and a Han Solo story. I felt there was no threat for him. He was just untouchable to the point of silliness, really. I mean, he beat everybody without breaking a sweat. It wasn't the masterpiece I expected. It wasn't a disaster. There was bits I enjoyed. It just wasn't the book I was expecting to read, and I didn't at any point feel that Vader was in any kind of jeopardy or threat, which is what I thought the book was going to be about when I went into it.
Yeah.
Sorry, James.
Absolutely. Let's go for a bit of optimistic one. Efren, what was your thoughts, mate?
I loved it. I mean, they had Dr. Aphra. It had the killer droids, 000 and BT, and it had that other Chrysanthemum, if I'm pronouncing him right, the other Wookiee. And it even had that other, what was that? The guy with the amphibian head that was a cyborg.
Yeah, we'll get the Captain Commander Carter.
I just really, and I was telling GP before we started recording, the artwork to me was fantastic, especially by La Rocca. I didn't even know it was two writers until you just mentioned it. I never put that in two and two together. I really enjoyed this book a lot. It brought back memories of Star Wars when I was a kid, just the characters. I didn't realize Darth Vader was that strong. All he could do. I was like, damn, he's taking on a whole fleet basically without blinking an eye. Just showing up. I really enjoyed it. Sorry, Peter.
Fuzzy's just saying there, you're not alone. It did nothing for me either. I bought two copies of #1, including the Spanish version. What do you want the Spanish version for?
I'll read it to you, Fuzzy. Send it to me. I'll read it to you in Spanish to see if you like it then.
Yeah.
That should be a series.
Yeah. Me reading in Spanish? Yeah.
Efron in Spanish.
Luke, let's get your overview, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad that Peter said what he said, because I always feel bad for being such a downer when it comes to these things. Do you know what? So I'm not the greatest Star Wars fan. I've said it multiple times before on various channels. I like Star Wars for what it is, but I'm not an uber fan like, say, someone like James or maybe even Peter on some level as well. For me, it's mostly about those movies, and it's because they were so embedded to me over time. You know, I have a nostalgia for them as opposed to just loving Star Wars. So you know, the latest shows come out or the comics come out, and I don't rush to check it out. You know, I'll get to it if I ever do, and if I don't, it doesn't matter. My problem at the moment with these stories, again, whether it be comic book or TV shows, is that they're filling in all these gaps that are unnecessary. You know, I use Obi-Wan Kenobi as an example of when he was living in the cave and he was like not going by that name and this, that, and the other. But like nowadays, that was only like 6 years ago. You know, that the time frame is getting smaller and smaller that he was ever absent because they're putting in all these additional stories. And this is one of those problems with this book, because you don't need to read this. You don't need to know this part of the story. It's completely irrelevant. You know, nothing really happens, and that's because they can't have it can't come to a climax. It can't come to its final state because that happens in a movie. You know, it can't go anywhere. Their hands are tied already. So you know, again, much like Peter said, I had high recommendations about this book. People saying it was amazing. I read it and I was like, oh well. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I can see James shaking his head, but it's true. Yeah, like the movies do it. And again, we can see Vader like in Rogue One and stuff like that, where he's absolutely awesome because now the technology is there, or now we can write it in a different format like comic books. But it still doesn't change the fact that when you see him first fight Obi-Wan Kenobi in that original movie, they're just two old men going like this with their with their sticks. Like
it's a more refined fighting style. Is the thing. No, honestly, I think that's an absolutely fair criticism. That, like, like Peter said, I thought Vader would be in threat, but he's obviously not going to be in threat because he's alive in the next movie. But I think they do use, like, not specifically in this book, but like there are some interquel comics that bridge some things or like explain maybe some elements of Star Wars that don't make a lot of sense, like between the prequels and the sequels.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys like the interaction between characters that normally don't interact when the killer droids and R2-D2 and C-3PO when they meet, and Dr. Aphra interacting with Luke and Han? That's what I enjoyed. And then the Wookiee fight, I really enjoyed that too.
So that's I mean, sadly, Efren, you've picked a really poor example for me. So I liked the Wookiee fight. The version of CP3O, the dark version, got right on my tripe. I didn't enjoy the dialogue.
I think he's meant to, though.
But I was going to say, if I'm being really honest, and please don't shoot us, if I'm being really honest, C-3PO gets on my nerves as well. I don't like that level of humor. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the dark. I liked the dark R2. I liked all the different weapons and stuff. Yeah. But what I would argue, again, going back to Luke's point about no threat, he had missile pods, laser cannons, all kinds. I don't think he hit anything in the entire series. You know, and at one point he was stood nose to nose.
50 stormtroopers or something at the end.
Again, like I get why they were doing it, but it feels like every character was just an alternate version from a mirror universe. Like you even had them making like references for Indiana Jones in regards to like their two Han Solo style characters not liking snakes and this, that, and the other. Like there was a lot. Everything just seemed very on. Everything just seemed very forced and on the nose. Like
I like that back and forth between Dr. Aphra and Han. I did enjoy that bit, to be honest. But I know exactly what Peter's on about the droids. So that did weigh on me a little bit. Fuzzy's just saying people forever hold this. Was told this was the best Star Wars story. Left me feeling cold and empty. I didn't care for anything. Poor Fuzzy.
I feel personally attacked right now, guys. This is terrible. I thought this would
Fuzzy also wants to know are you out on tour?
I'm in work at the moment, so like this was my pick, and god damn it, I have to be here. So
to be fair, James, to be absolutely fair, like Vader is one of the best villains of all time. You know, you can put him right up there with like the Joker and stuff like that. He is definitely one of the best, and seeing him do all this stuff is awesome. It's incredible, but in timeline continuity and context of the films that we've had and the series and the other tie-ins and everything else that comes along with it, like I say, this just didn't go anywhere or indeed matter. Like I strongly believe that even if you could recommend this book to people and say, oh, you will love it if you like this action or you want to see Vader as a powerhouse, but equally you could say to someone, you don't need to read this and you'll miss nothing.
Did we read the same book, guys? Or I think James and I did. I think
I'm with Efren, man. This is shocking.
Poor James.
Let's
Comic
get the
deals
James
sat
comic
quietly
deals
there.
overview.
Yeah.
I know he
Yeah.
has read his overview. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't read it.
Yeah.
No. I enjoyed it. Now I haven't read an awful lot of modern Star Wars books, so I don't know a lot of, like, I know Dr. Aphra is a big thing, but this is the first Dr. Aphra thing I've read. So I don't know sort of where she fits in the grand scheme of things, apart from apparently working for Vader. But no, I liked it. I think Luke makes good points. I think the more stories we have that are considered canon stories set between the movies, it just convolutes the space between the movies. And it's like it's literally like they're meeting up every weekend on every different planet out there. So that, like, from I'm a big Star Wars fan. And that does sort of get on my nerves a wee bit, where they're trying to push too much stuff in there just for the purpose of getting books out there. But I did like the story. I thought it was a nice, short, easy read, and the different characters interacting, I thought was fun. I liked the droids. Like I think Peter said, C-3PO, I think he's meant to be annoying, and I think that's the running joke throughout even the movies, that everyone finds him annoying. But essentially, he is one of the main heroes of the whole saga in Star Wars, because it basically follows him the whole way through. So I didn't mind that there was another annoying droid who, and I like the fact that, like, there's sort of a joke made where they're both saying, "Oh, the indignity," and "Oh, it's so undignified," and it's like they're both acting the same sort of way, which was fun. But no, and the art, I thought the art was great. I didn't even realize the split between the artists. I didn't actually notice the difference in styles, and I like the Rocket's style. I found in some of his books, like the Alien book, I found it just seemed more CGI-ish than art. But in this one, I didn't notice that. And Mike Deodato Jr., I've always loved his artwork. And what they do well is capture the character's likeness, because everything was spot on. So
yeah, I'd agree.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'd agree with that. The artwork was very, very good.
Here's the thing with me with the artwork. I think they went to go for far too realistic, and then we get stuff like this, which that just put me off.
I don't know. I don't really see an issue.
Dr. Aphra's face looks like it's about to drip down to a navel.
Yeah.
Now tell me this, so Peter, have you ever had someone take a photo of you and it's just an awkward moment and you see your face?
Plenty.
Look at that face.
Yeah. You got a double
if you just freeze this stream right now, guarantee 3 out of 6 faces are going to be like, no, that's not my face.
Oh, my eyes are shut.
So
Sorry,
I
just quickly jumping in the chat there. We are joined by Swish Rips, my bro from Chicago. Swish does some awesome short videos.
Go Bears/Cubs. Or like Chicago teams.
I like White Sox. And then we've got the original Big Dave. Hey, Dave, thanks for joining, mate. Fuzzy's just saying there, it is his first time seeing any Doc Aphra.
Yeah,
Wow.
same for me.
I like Doc Aphra as a character. I really do.
I just don't know what her jig is, and this didn't really explain it either. But I liked what she was doing.
Was I supposed to know who the Fish Jedi dog thing was at the end? Is that someone that's ever been in it before?
Fish Grievous.
Fish Grievous, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think he pops up in the Vader. To be fair, now my memory of this comic was it was a bit more standalone. Like when he popped up, I was a bit like I forgot he was in it at all, and I was like, oh.
But he can't have been a Sith, then, can he? Can he? Because there's only ever 2 Sith.
I think it was General Davis's like that kind of style body.
Right. Okay.
Like,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's why we call him Fish Grievous. Yeah. So just so you know, this does span multiple Star Wars comics. It starts with the Vader down one shot. And you got Darth Vader 13, 14, and 15, and Star Wars 13 and 14. As you know, by now we go through it issue by issue. So we'll start with issue 1, which is the Vader down. one shot. We find Vader traveling to the planet Vagros Vass, looking for Luke. For somehow he knows Luke's his son. For some reason, there's one thing about this comic that feels like you miss a lot. Before
I don't think he
'cause
mentioned it in the book.
That's at the
that
end
he
of
knows it.
the Star Wars like comic run. It's at the end of the first issue or something. He finds out Boba Fett tells him because he
Right.
like sent him to find out who blew up the Death Star. So yeah, without that
Yeah.
context, I think fair enough. Like to be fair, I know I'm justifying some things that I like shat on Secret Invasion for because I actually do know the context of this story, so I know I'm being a little bit hypocritical. But yeah,
that's fine. It's
all
your
that
pick,
stuff
man.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You can be
I
hypocritical.
can be biased if I want to.
Yeah. Just quickly, we're joined by Connie. How are you doing, Connie?
Sweet.
He's out looking for Luke. Dr. Afra apparently found where he was at on this planet Vagros Vass. He comes out of hyperspace and he just jumps straight into a whole bunch of X-Wings. And they start fighting each other. Vader starts taking down a big load of these ships without any hassle. I say we know he was a good pilot, but was he that good? But anyway, he realizes Luke is in one of these X-Wings. Before he can do anything about it, Luke pretty much plays chicken with him, crashes, takes down the X-Wing. I think it should be a meme by now about Luke crashing their spaceships and having their hand coming out looking for him. But yeah, who we at? Yeah, that was a brilliant panel and all. I just put that back up. Yeah, because when he's fighting all the X-Wings.
Was it?
The rebels find out and go on high alert. Leia wants to go after Vader. Han wants to go after Luke. They come off a bit cold in these issues, mind.
Yeah.
She was more about going after Vader. And it ends with all the rebel alliance surrounding Vader. Anybody want to add anything to that issue?
I love the artwork. I mean, just looking at that picture that you showed, the first one. I mean, that's what drew me to this comic book. Reading it, just the artwork was, to me, was spot on. I really enjoyed it.
That I'm sorry. I am sorry because I'm shitting on James's book here, and Dave in the chat there. It's not often we agree, but I'm agreeing with you on this. I'm struggling with this book.
Yeah.
That first page you just showed, JP. Just pop that one back up for us.
Yeah. I need to buy a mouse now.
You've got a mouse. That sums up, I guess, my issue with this a little bit. I get that we're making Vader the big badass that he is, and he's superb, but just look at that image of how many lasers are shooting at him, and nothing touches him. You know, it's gone beyond
Star Wars. Nobody can hit anything in Star Wars.
They've nerfed him to such a point where it's kind of it becomes a bit silly for me. I've just felt this was a bit, come on, really? One squad, I could have believed. 3 squads of ships, it was a bit, yeah. And then Luke saved the day. Of course he did.
It's so nice to not be alone.
Sorry.
I hate this. I hate agreeing with Luke.
He won the Banta Eve pod race. He's a great pilot. He's a great, how can you?
Yippee!
Yeah, exactly. And he was, he was a very small, young, really annoying actor at that stage. Come on, he's a great pilot.
I was saying it's A-Team in space. This issue does have one of my favorite Darth Vader quotes when he's surrounded. He says, "All I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men."
Yeah,
one of my favorite lines in all of comics, I think. As well. My favorite Vader lines. I absolutely love that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Anybody else want to add anything about this issue?
I say that when I'm hungover every morning. No, it was a good issue leading into the sort of story. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So we'll go on to issue 2, which is Darth Vader 13. and picks up straight away. This is one of the good things about this book. It just runs right through the story. There's not really any gaps in it. So it picks up straight away from the last issue. Vader surrounded. Vader takes them all down, ships included. It just goes absolutely mental. Dr. Aphra goes in search of Vader. She sends her droids after Luke. And she paints one of them gold in the fastest time ever to trick Luke, thinking it's C-3PO. Luke finds an old Jedi temple. And 3-0 takes out Luke. Anybody want to add anything to this issue?
Well, now that Peter and Luke have been bringing this book down for me a little bit, I must admit that all these troopers are against Vader, and he doesn't even get like dinged a little bit, you know. And I know he's powerful and all, but I mean, he's still human, so to speak.
Join us, Ephron.
Well, I mean, he triggers all their thermal detonators. To be fair, GP, the paint thing, I think that's probably, there is an established thing in Star Wars, like nano paint, that like you just like basically you tap it and it'll turn that color. So I think that's probably what she did.
Plot device.
Noobs.
Oh, shots fired. Dave's just saying that he's read a lot of new Marvel Star Wars. He likes the series and their trilogy below par. Was he saying there's still a thing? Ahsoka was the very same this week. One ship versus 30 baddies and they sail through. No danger whatsoever. I haven't watched. Thanks for the spoilers.
I really thought this was a shoe-in, guys. To be honest, I'm actually.
Welcome to my world. JLA versus Avengers.
Here, like,
What do we get? 3.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but
they're
Peter,
miserable bastards. I hate everything. So like
We're getting old, James.
James hasn't told Peter his opinion's wrong yet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything to issue 2?
Okay. Positivity. This was a cool scene. I did like that. I go back to my earlier point. For me, Vader versus hundreds and hundreds of men and tanks and stuff like that, it's bordering on the, oh, come on, he's got to be, there's got to be a bit of flex there. But actually, this was cool. And this would have looked very cool, I think, if we'd seen this on screen at some point. I would have liked to have seen something like this happen. But yeah. I did like the idea of detonating the thermal detonators. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the grenades was good. It reminded me of Magneto from X-Men.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I again like what I said earlier. It's great seeing Vader do these things. It just doesn't work at this moment, like in this context. If you're going to watch those films or read this stuff, it doesn't line up as well as it should. This is a great Vader. I'm not sure where we would see him do this, like what part of the timeline would be better. But it's again, it's because it's a product of its time. That's all it is. It's because it's just aged badly. It really hasn't it. Like
I think
technology is
be
so
an
new
issue
now
with Star Wars overall now, because Vader is kind of portrayed this powerfully across the video games and even the Disney Plus series now, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll go on to issue 3.
Can I quickly say as well? Sorry, just on that issue. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, it was a good issue, but there was, and I don't know why. It's sort of it's. I was reading it, and it just seemed so weird. I had to read it like 3 times. It was a part where Han Solo called Leia "Your Majesty-ness." Like it was between Your Majesty and Your Highness.
I think I just read that bit fast.
Your Majesty-ness, and I was like, I don't know why. It just sort of was weird, and it stood out, and it made me sort of stop reading.
I think there's a lot of weirdness in this comic, to be fair.
Yeah, and it's just like one of those things. It's not mentioned anywhere else. It's not like, and I was like, is it a throwback? Did he say that in the movies? And he's like, I can remember him ever saying that in the movie.
Got to go back and watch the movies now.
I didn't even notice that, to be honest, James.
I mean, I think I'm pretty much quoting verbatim him at this stage, but I'm pretty sure he didn't say it. But yeah, it was just weird. Anyway.
Yeah. Big Dave saying the biggest issue with the new stuff is the rules have been so altered. The original trilogy had consistently with law powers, as did the prequels. But the sequels, comic shows are changing so much. Yeah. We'll go on to issue 3, which is Star Wars 13. Aphra goes to get Luke, who's unconscious by now. And there's a standoff between R2 and B2. R2's got this little cattle prod, and B2 just has the most amount of guns anybody's ever seen on an effing droid. It was
He's the
absolutely
John Wick
ridiculous.
of the droidry.
He
world.
absolutely is, yeah. Han finds where Luke is. What did I write there? Oh, yeah. Chewie does some arm ripping, which was nice to see. Anybody want to add anything to issue 3?
Yeah, the R2BT standoff is one of my favorite moments of this as well. I think when these guys just have the little taser and just like, I think, yeah, in motion, that would have been really cool to see. Yeah.
Oh, I will say, no, this is where we get the gunfight between Han and Afra.
Is this with the,
000 poisons Chewie.
is this the one with the, what is it, snake wasp things? Not
Yes,
the wasps,
yeah.
the
Wasp
wasps.
worms.
The wasp
Wasp
worms. That was it.
What's
yeah.
worms?
Yeah. I didn't know if that was a Mickey take of what do you call it? The Wicker Man, and not the bees, the bees.
Not the bees.
Yeah, because she kind of said not the wasp worms. Yeah.
And this ends with Leia going face to face with Vader. So,
Stunning artwork again, mate. And the covers are beautiful, aren't they? They really are very, very cool covers.
the covers are absolutely brilliant, yeah. Absolutely. Pete's going to buy every single one of them.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Not for this, he ain't.
No.
He said he'd say Andor and Rogue One have stayed in most real Star Wars. Absolutely agree with that. Rogue One is the gold. Anybody else want to add anything?
Do you guys know if they the droids, the killer droids, did they ever show their origin, how they were programmed, to become these droids? I don't think they ever have.
Maybe in the Dr. Afra comic, because they're sort of his psychics, or her psychics. So they might go into it there. I haven't read the actual Afra series yet.
No, it's another good issue. But yeah, I think I don't know what Pete was thinking reading it, but 000 is just one of the greatest characters, I think.
Absolutely,
series.
just comes out with the maddest
He's
thing.
yeah.
I would have thought, because you haven't seen that character before, that would have played really well for you, because it is such a shock of hearing what you usually see these polite protocol droids just seeing talk about torturing people all the time.
And then Luke's chopping his arm off, and he's like, "Oh, this is getting monotonous." So what's with the arms? It's just.
Dave's just agreeing with you on the covers there, Pete. Yeah. Nobody else got anything to add? We'll just move swiftly on.
Dr. Afra does intrigue us, mate. This is my first reading of her in it, so I was interested in that character, I think. Do these droids, so Efren, I know you've read a lot of this, do these droids stick around with Dr. Afra? Are they in all of her kind of ongoing stories and stuff?
Off and on, they've been showing up. In the most recent Dr. Afra, I don't think they've shown up that I recall. But I really enjoy when these characters come out. They're just obviously the opposite of R2D2 and 3PO, but they're just so sadistic. That's what I like about them. I really enjoy these characters. I had a commission done of the two characters.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really digging them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good dark twist on two beloved Star Wars characters, really.
Yeah. And then Afra herself is basically the Indiana Jones of the Star Wars universe. And I've read one or two kind of issues of hers here and there, and they're very kind of pulpy 1930s style. That's kind of what they're going for. All right. So it's a really fun character, I think.
Yeah, so is she a bad guy? Is she?
Yeah, she's
like a Han Solo, a rogue kind of character. She's she's working for Vader, but she's not evil.
Yeah, she's out for herself a lot of times. She just wants to do what's right for herself. But then every now and then her humanity shows, and she does help other people. I really enjoy this character.
That might be definitely one to check out.
Yeah,
sometime in the future. So we'll go on to issue 4. This is Darth Vader number 14. Luke and Chewie managed to escape. Afra has someone coming for help. As you can see in that panel, you know who. Vader lets Leia go to get Luke to come to him, as that's going to work. Afra's help arrives, and it's Costanza. The Wookiee fighting shows droids 000 takes 3PO's arms.
Yeah,
there's a lot of arm swapping in this comic. Imperial ships turn up, and then we introduce to Commander Carbon, who is Fishman General Grievous. Anybody want to add anything to this?
Wookiee fight was cool. I like that. I recognise Black Chrysanthemum from wasn't he in Boba Fett?
He was,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I recognise him from that. So I enjoyed that. I always enjoy, and I think that again the artwork on the Wookiees was tremendous. They looked fierce and like Yetis almost. So I like that. Fishman at the end absolutely threw us, because I was reading this as kind of a in continuity in the middle of Star Wars kind of story, and I've never seen or heard of that character before. So that threw us for a loop, really. I wasn't sure what the hell was going on. At first, I thought it was Akbar. I thought, what have they done to General Akbar?
It's like they sort of ran out of ideas on making up a new villain. Oh, let's just put General Grievous and Admiral Akbar together and have this new character. So they could have thought up something else. Dave's just saying there, Alf felt like the new writers are trying to find the Han Solo. So it must be related to the new Afra comics.
Is the whatever his name was, Cabin, is that General Grievous's body? Is that lower that it is?
It really looks like it, but I honestly God, I forgot that character existed until rereading this.
Right.
So I'm not sure. It looks like it might be. Maybe they salvaged it or something, and he's using it.
The 2 pages that sat beside each other where 000 takes C-3PO's arms, and they're like the same sort of layout. They're like 5 or 6 long panels across the 2 pages, which is brilliant. This is probably some of my favorite pages in the book. It's just all misty, and you see them walking through, and then they're walking away, and then C-3PO's left with no arms and his head turned around. So it's just
I forgot about them turning his head around.
So well done.
Because I think someone asked why they turned.
Yeah, he just says he turned it around. He doesn't know why.
Just picking on him. Effing bullies. Anybody else want to add anything?
I really love R2 shooting the needle at Chewbacca, and his eyes just open, and he just rips him apart.
Yeah,
but
he would look like he went kind of wall-eyed. I was looking at Marty Feldman for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good fun as well.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I like Han Solo's. Sorry, Luke. I like Han Solo's dialogue throughout the whole series, just the way he puts down B-Boy, and when he's putting down the droids, telling him to help out. It reminds me of the original Star Wars films.
Yeah, out of all the characters, I think
I agree.
Han Solo absolutely spot on.
I think in general for the Star Wars comics, in this series particularly, the characters all do really feel like the characters in the movies, like from how they talk, how they act. There's no disconnect there for me. Han Solo feels like Han Solo. I think Han Solo's written really well. I think Vader's written really well. I think Leia, and like their conflicts are similar to the conflicts in the movies as well. So I really enjoy that aspect. It really does feel like an official Star Wars thing.
I mean, it's interesting you're saying that, James, because I didn't like Leia in this at all. I thought she came across. I don't remember her being that harsh and unpleasant, but maybe I'm misremembering.
I would argue that you project it onto them, like because you love Star Wars so much, you're projecting those characters, whether it was well written that way or not. I feel like if they give you just a little bit, then you jump on it to say, because as a fan, I mean, like not you specifically, I'm saying people want them to be those characters so bad that when it is written in a different concept, because I remember back when I was a kid reading like the Star Wars novels and stuff, and they were a slog to get through. They weren't as exciting as watching the movies, but there's just so much of this stuff out there now. I did really enjoy, like James said, about the adrenaline needle being shot into Chewbacca, but again, it's all these things that we keep seeing characters do that they never then do again because of the movies have already been made. It's like R2-D2 flying in the prequels, and yet he never flew any other time. You can't just keep inserting these new tricks and things that people can do or changing the way that things work.
Yeah, we've got the comment of the night as well, General Grievous.
I love that. Just to go back to what James was saying there, I can't remember what James, one of you guys was saying. I absolutely read this book and any Star Wars book really with the voices in my head, and so when I'm reading Han Solo, I'm hearing Harrison Ford. Do you know what I mean? It's really interesting. I just found Leia quite unpleasant.
So I think the
uncaring.
point with Leia is in the context of the timeline in the book. This is after, obviously the Death Star is blown up, but
Yeah.
that was just, shortly before she was held hostage in the Death Star, and had to watch her home planet be destroyed. Side by side with Darth Vader. So her goal in this is just to kill Darth Vader. As soon as she knows he's there, that's her singular goal. She doesn't care about anything else. So
that's a really good point, James.
Sense.
That's a really good point, James, because I kind of forgot that there's a number of scenes where you kind of see her seeing the destruction of Alderaan. Am I right?
Alderaan,
yeah, that's close.
Yeah. So I wonder at this point, like you're saying in the timeline, she's probably still suffering with all that massive grief and survivor's guilt and all that kind of stuff, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think
she's also like looking at Luke as just another soldier as well. Like they haven't bonded really that much. You had that original movie, and this is maybe 6 months after that, if even. They've not spent that much time together.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. That. So go on to issue 5. That's when Chewie gets the adrenaline shot in this issue, and sparks out Black Sanson. So yeah, issue 5, Carbon and Vader fight a lot. The Wookiees still fighting. Luke goes back to the Jedi Temple. He's Ben's voice. While fighting Carbon, Vader is at the temple. He's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Luke gets captured by stormtroopers, and it ends with Leia pointing a blaster at Vader. Anybody want to add anything to this issue?
I keep on going back to the artwork. It's just, to me, it just really captivated me for some reason more than other books. I think if it was a different artwork, I wouldn't have enjoyed this story as much, to be honest with you. I really just enjoy the art.
Yeah, better. Anybody else?
Good battle again with the Wookiees, and I enjoy that. Can't beat a bit of hairy people wrestling on the ground in mud. So yeah.
Newcastle on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it's just like, and the same with every issue. I think it just flows so well. It's not dumping too much on you at any one time. There's not an awful lot of exposition or anything. It's just scene after scene, and it works so well.
There's a lot of fighting in this issue. Yeah.
But they're good fights. They mean something. And it works well. Plus, like James said earlier, you see BT just did a flamethrower on stormtroopers, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Per stormtroopers.
Right, we'll go on to the last issue, which is issue 6. It's Darth Vader number 15. Leia finds there's a problem in this one. So Leia finds Luke, Han, and Chewie sprawled on the ground. Next thing you know, Luke's been taken captive. Where the hell was Leia with the carrying Luke away? It just went from one panel to the next. Han and Chewie somehow. What I wrote there? No. Alpha helps Vader with Carbon. Defeats Carbon. They escape in the Falcon with Vader looking on. That's basically issue 6 of this. Not a lot happens. Anybody's take on this one?
Neatly wrapped up in a bow. Fishman gets felled. I presume he's dead. Luke's escaping. Yeah. Vader brings him. Luckily, he survives the crash. Everybody goes home happy.
I couldn't work out how, right at the beginning of this, when Vader first lands on the planet and he's literally pulling ships out of the sky and destroying them, and yet when they're flying off, he didn't just grab it and throw it to the ground. Like, he allowed it to happen, right?
Yeah, he absolutely did. Maybe James can let us know how Luke was captured by the Imperial troops when they already found him. Because it just went from one panel. I can't get over it. It goes from one panel where Leia finds Luke, Han, and Chewie lying on the floor, and then in a couple of panels later, Luke's being captured.
I don't remember.
I don't think Leia's there. I think Leia's seeing that vision in her head. I don't think she's actually there. If you look at the panel, the way it's colored.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. GP.
Well, I can't pull the pictures up now, can I? I should have
sorry.
made a slide of it. I should have made a slide of it. God damn it. God damn you, James.
Yeah, so it's that one there you're referring to, right? But you can see the way it's colored. It's sort of more like a reddish color, which is sort of
Yeah,
same,
that's
the
like you're
same as
imagining it, I would think.
yeah. So it's the same as sort of red that's in the Alderaan blown up, which she sort of remembers. So I think she's just seeing that in her in her head,
Right.
which is basically all her friends dead. So I think that's what she's worried about. She is. It's basically right. Here's some storytelling 101 for you. Okay, it's comparing the explosion of Alderaan, which is one goal, revenge, against her friends who are all seemingly dead, to help them. It's the same sort of thing that Luke faced at the end of Empire. Does he stay to complete his training, or does he go and help his friends? So it's the same sort of thing. That's it.
So just retelling the same story.
Sorted, GP. Sorted. You can put a pin in that one.
I didn't like the ending at all. We all know Vader survives. We all know Vader survives. You know, he's in the movie, so he's not down. You know, I thought something could happen to him, and I forgot who mentioned it, but when the ship's flying away, he had the power to bring it back. You know, if he wanted to. So I didn't like the ending at all. That I just like, the ending just kind of ruined it at the end for me a little bit. To be honest with you,
anybody else want to add anything?
I just think, like what Peter said right at the beginning, you know, Vader down. This should have been him literally crashing down, being injured, having to fight his way through a load of stuff. You know, he should have been completely wrecked and destroyed. And then having like him calling out that he needs his help from his master saying, no, you screwed up, not interested. You know, it could have been such a more epic story than it was. This was just nothing.
A very similar that is another story. There's one where Tarkin is hunting him as training, like where he crashes and he's injured and stuff.
Yeah.
So there is another book. That's not this book. Maybe you read the wrong book.
I think we all read the wrong book.
No, listen. I think these are all just dry shites and should just like enjoy a fun comic book about laser swords and wizards and stuff. Like it's good.
I think Darth Vader let them escape, because Luke was obviously looking at that temple, and he was getting somewhere when he started to hear and possibly see Ben Kenobi and stuff like that. And that was, you know, Darth Vader had figured that out, obviously, when he was in the temple, and he knew he was sort of connecting with the Force. So I think at that stage, letting them get away so that Luke doesn't become stronger at that point was probably his plan all along.
Mental test.
I think another problem with these books, and I even talked to Peter about this, just comic books overall, these characters have been around for over 50 freaking years. And it's so hard to write new stories about them. I mean, Star Wars started in the 70s. I mean, it's over 50 years now. So it's hard trying to keep these characters relevant, you know, move forward with them, you know, so that's hard.
I feel like Ephraim came in with one score and now he's changed.
I know you matched up a little bit, you know, so.
It's not how we do the triple G, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
High score, it goes right down. Fuzzy's saying, remember that turtle book? Oh, shit on karma. Titles.
I swear to God, if the score's lower, I'm going to assume, like...
So we are going to start now. We'll come to Pete first.
Oh, man.
It's just in case you have to run off, because you've got another show right after this, mate. So,
artwork good, story weak. Was I entertained? No, not really. I'm sorry, James. It's below average for me. So shake his head already. So it's a 4 for me. 4 out of 10.
Wow.
Oh, wow. James T, what's your score?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 out of 10.
60
out of 10.
I'm gonna give it 60 out of 10. You didn't tell me you can't do that, so I'm gonna give it 60 out of 10.
No, you can't.
60.
10.
60.
6.
No, 60. 60.
No, 6.
I mean, you technically never said
A proper score, James. A proper score.
10 out,
please,
10, 10, 10 out of 10. I love this book. I think it's
Wow.
10 out of 10.
the best
Hey,
Star Wars
it's
book
your-
ever.
that's
ever
really
written.
nice.
I think it's an absolute
Bonus.
blast from start to finish. I think the characters are really well written, really fun. I think, yeah, it's gorgeous. Vader's amazing in it. Like, yeah, absolutely. I love this book. It's
Can
a
you
thrill
honestly
ride from start to finish.
You cannot honestly, hand on heart, pick one bad point out of this book.
No.
There's no other book. What other stories would you say were a 10 out of 10?
Hang on a minute. He doesn't need to justify his score.
No,
it
it's
my
not
score.
justifying.
Well, what about respecting other people's opinions, Luke? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Luke,
yeah.
your score.
Well, I don't know whether to be bitter and score it a 1 or whether or not to say what I was going to say. No, in all honesty, so for me, a 5 is an average book, and like Peter said, this was below average, so I'm going to go for a 4 as well. It wasn't awful. There were bits that I liked, and if I'm saying that a 5 is an average book, I think that a 5 is still decent. This is just a little below average.
4 is, I would consider a 4 out of 10 as really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
really
it's like when
bad.
you do CGC grading, right? A 5 is a mid grade. That's as good as it.
Mid-grade.
Look,
Like,
really
Well,
wants
this
a
isn't a CGC book.
5.
This is yeah. That's 4 is shocking to give this. I think.
Efren, what's your score?
It's when you channel cancelled.
I almost did change my score, but coming into the show, I knew what grade I was going to give it already. You know, I enjoyed the book. I love the artwork. I keep on coming back to the artwork, but I really enjoyed the artwork. I didn't even know it was 2 different writers. I mean, I quite thoroughly enjoyed this book, so I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay, yeah. And James Comicdale.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a nice, easy read. Like I said, the only thing that I would nitpick against it is that it's just another story to cram in between the existing storylines, which you don't necessarily need. But I can understand there is a want for Star Wars stories in comic format, and you can't, you want to please the fans, you can do that. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Myself, I didn't have a problem with the story at all, apart from a couple of little bits I lost out on, like the thing and that. The art, some of it wasn't to my taste, so I want to knock some points off for that. So it is going to be a 7 for me. So I can easily read it again without a problem. So that gives us an average score of 7. Which will place on the leaderboard.
Number 7.
Number 9.
Oh, it should be. It's better than Secret Invasion, guys. Come on, like.
Is it though?
Yeah, way better. That's okay.
That's your opinion.
I'm just happy it's not down with like Fathom or Body Count. Like, that'd be really heartbreaking.
Yeah, we don't talk about that anymore. Tell you what, though, you get the trade paperback of this. It will be a good one to get. Bring the Thought Bubble. You can get it signed by Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillen.
Do you know, I had it, but I lent it to a friend, and when I asked for it back, he said I didn't give it to him.
It's actually really hard to get a hold of.
They just nicked it. Like, so I have to buy another one, or I might get like the first issue or something.
Hey, James and Peter, when your new show starts on Friday, you can continue this argument, okay?
Yeah. I think when your show is cancelled, I don't think James wants to work with us anymore.
I was just saying there, Efren cutting your hair was a mistake, and I ain't scandalous. And I'm getting wrong with Big Dave now.
How dare you?
So, what we got coming up? Pete, James, do you want to tell everybody about your new channel and new show?
I'm going to have to quickly dart. So I'll just quickly say I've got a couple of new videos out this week. New video out today of this, which is stunning. This is the comic version of Iron Man.
Nice.
Absolutely stunning, yeah. It's a lovely figure. Saturday, we'll be doing Saturday Night Live. And then on Friday, me and James are doing our new live show. So I'll leave James to tell you a little bit about that. Thank you very much, everybody. Been a pleasure. And once you finish here, please do join on Reviews with Rich's channel. So see you in a bit. Bye.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Pete.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Pete.
Bye.
Bye, Pete.
James, do you want us to you want to tell everybody
Yeah,
about Friday
absolutely.
night?
So myself and Peter, we started a new YouTube channel. It's called One Good Scare. So it's about horror movies, horror news, kind of focused one. So our first episode is on Friday. That's live at 9 p.m. UK time. We're going to be talking about Saw X and The Nun and possibly Murder in Venice. I got a chance to see it. And there's been some kind of news throughout the week. So that's the first episode. It's going to be every second Friday. And then on the Fridays in between, we're going to have like a review, an edited one, review show called I'll Be Right Back, where we look at kind of classic horror movies.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, lots of cool stuff coming out from that channel. So
I don't like the way that nuns have now become scary, because I preferred them when they were sexy.
Yeah, sexy nuns versus scary nuns. That's been an interesting debate, actually. I might put that as a topic. Yes, that's at One Good Scare Show on YouTube. That's the handle for it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put the link in the description after the show for the new channel, as well as your normal channels. Luke, you've got this.
Yeah, so the Hydra review. So this is something that I've had in the works for a while now. I think I made the first announcement about it back in September. It's not to overtake any of my current content. This is just additional. But I always wanted to go back and do some old school reviews, and it made a lot of sense to me to start in October with Halloween, then do various other films throughout November, then Christmas films, and so on. So it's gonna spread across all genres, and I will take recommendations on board as well. I want to start off with some like cult classics. So for example, I've just released one about Lost Boys, but eventually as we go on, there will be some more maybe forgotten movies, stuff that you can't get nowadays, stuff that's not on streaming or only came out on VHS or DVD. We're going right back to old school stuff. So hopefully it will trigger a lot of memories for people. So that's the Hydra review, all part of Hydra Collectibles, no additional channel. It's right there. And like I say, we'll still be doing comic book content, toy content, everything else.
Brilliant, mate. Yeah. Efren.
God, I'm always doing comic book content also, I just did a video, what did I buy now, which is something that I buy that is different from a comic book. I don't know, whenever I feel like doing videos, I'm always doing videos with Peter, and I'm just trying to have fun on YouTube, man. That's it, and just have a good time. And
best way.
I like hanging out with you guys all the time too, which is also cool to do.
Brilliant. James Comicdale, got anything?
Yeah, so I've got a video coming out where I try I sort of look at the Easter eggs that are hidden and like the little funny bits that are hidden in the Passion of the Christ. So I can't wait for that one to come out.
Oh, isn't James, one more thing, aren't you doing commissions too, right? You sent me that message.
No, that was sent to the wrong person.
I know.
But yeah, I don't know if anyone wants me to draw something. I mean.
Yeah, he sent me a message you about a commission. Then I started thinking, did I send him a message that I wanted a commission from him?
No, that was meant for Fuzzy.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason I went down the chat and I clicked on Fuzzy, and then I sent a message, and then next thing I knew, it was sent to Efren instead.
Are we allowed to make claims for some of your artwork that you're doing throughout October?
Sure.
I've liked the last two that you've done, and I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the list. I don't know what's coming up. But yeah, check out Instagram as well from me, which is Comicdale. Because I'm doing Inktober, where every day in October you draw, like you do a picture, and it's based on Helltober, which was Ben Templesmith put the list together, the comic writer and artist who created 30 Days of Night. And he actually liked my alien picture, which had me all chuffed. So
it is very good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Now, usually we spin the wheel to find out which comic book we're doing next. But with being in October, I've decided that we're going to read the horror one, which is Efren's pick, and it's Nate the Hawes Nightmare Blogs. I will say, if you haven't read at least the first 3 volumes of Philadelphia, Efren, there will be spoilers in this.
Say that again?
I'm saying if you haven't read the first 3 volumes of Philadelphia, there will be spoilers in this book.
No, I mean they mentioned Nita Haas and Philadelphia, their companion books, so to speak. They're in the same universe, and they mentioned Nita Haas in Philadelphia a little bit, but no, it won't. There's no spoilers now.
Okay. I've also got a horror movie hangout coming up with myself, Pete, James, and Austin. It's been in the works for a while. It's not a coincidence that Pete and James have got a horror channel coming out. This has been in the works between me and Austin for a little while.
No, I feel like I need to do a horror channel.
I think you should.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
It happens
I've
every
got a
year,
horror
doesn't
channel.
Yes, and my channel is horrific enough.
yeah.
I've got a
Luke,
horror
and
channel.
I-
I've had a horror channel for about 2 years.
James, Luke, and I were going to do a horror channel too. Just to let everybody know.
I think you should.
You should.
Yeah. But no date on this yet. We're still trying to work that out to get everybody in the same thing. Also, if you haven't already seen this is Highlands GNU video. A few creators have been put on this. It's actually a really good watch, especially for people new to comic books. So go and check that out. And that is it. That's your lot. So does everybody want to just say goodbye and we'll be out of here? I am playing it safe. I'm just saying goodbye. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers tonight.
Oh,
Can't be doing
same.
that.
Whoa, what is that? Is it a ghost? Oh no, it's James.
Got a bit stalker mode there.
Ooh.
Yeah, anyway, good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night. Bye.
Goodbye.